assets, Israeli and American pilots exchanged mutual respect and encouragement. The joint campaign has reportedly achieved decisive military successes, including air superiority and the death of Iran's supreme leader.
That is Ron Taylor reporting. Wild weather has forecasts all over the place coming days.
We do have a significant winter storm that's going to move across the portions of the northern plains into the Great Lakes region. Already snowing today across portions of Montana. That's going to move across the Dakotas as we go through the day today. And then by tonight into tomorrow, snowing very heavy snow from portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, into northern Michigan.
That's Mark Chenard with the National Weather Service. He says a heat dome will settle over the west and southwest this weekend into next week. More from townhall.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
There's a new poll out that finds economic confidence is on the way up.
The Rasmussen Reports Economic Index finds that confidence has increased to 110 this month. That's more than 2 points higher than February. Enthusiasm about the economy surged during President Trump's first term, before tumbling after COVID threw Americans out of work and closed many businesses.
That is Bill Alexander reporting. Taxpayers are beginning, to experience the benefits of President Trump's tax cuts. Here's Bernie Bennett reporting.
The White House is reporting that millions of Americans are benefiting from President Trump's big, beautiful bill tax cuts, with average refunds surpassing $3,700 this season. Over 27.5 million taxpayers have claimed at least one benefit from last summer's working-class tax cut package, including exemptions on overtime pay, tips, and car loan interest. Bernie Bennett reporting.
You'll find breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew. For baseball's tallest hitters, robot umpires should bring some consistency to a tricky strike zone.
The robot umpire system for overturning ball strike calls is going to be used in regular season games in the majors this year. The top and the bottom of the strike zone for baseball's biggest giants have long been two difficult areas for umpires, but the ABS system provides an opportunity for a closer look. Keith Peters reporting.
A major CEO is leaving Washington State. Correspondent Kid Lorman explains why.
Starbucks founder Howard Schultz has announced his family is moving from Seattle to Miami following Washington Democrats' passage of a 9.9% income tax on those earning over $1 million annually.
Starbucks will open a corporate office in Nashville, offering relocation to its Seattle-based employees and expanding its presence in the Southeast. More on these stories at Town Hall.
If your idea of therapy involves a fishing rod, a tree stand, or a campfire, then you need American Outdoors Radio. Host John Cruz speaks your language, whether it's about the best lures, tracking game, or that one buddy who always forgets to bring the beer. John's got the tips to sharpen your aim, the hacks to pack lighter, and the stories to keep you entertained. Again, that's American Outdoor Radio with John Cruz. Saturdays at 7 a.m. on WRMN 1410. Or stream it at WRMN1410.com. Get ready to outfish, outhunt, and outcamp them all on American Outdoor Radio with John Cruz.
It's time time to wake up.
Yes!
And lock in to On the Rise.
Yes!
With host Mike Napolitano.
Cub fans have every right to be disappointed if this Cubs team continues on the trajectory that they're on and they miss the playoffs or, at best, get a wild card spot. You are cooked at that point.
Mamma mia!
Dalton Cooper.
Like, I would look out for my friends and be like, hey, you know, if you're ranking a little bit, I'm gonna let you know. I feel like that's a good friend. I'd be like, hey, did you smell yourself, or did you maybe did you fart, but something doesn't smell right.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And Nick Johnston.
For the most part, to be fair, I don't want to completely, justify a sweep, but the Royals are red hot right now. Vinny Pasquantino might be Ted Williams reincarnated. I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
On WRMN 1410 AM, the voice of the Valley.
Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of AM 1410 WRMN's River Media Network Sports Show On the Rise with myself, Mike Napolitano, and Dalton Cooper running the board over here. We have had quite the week in sports. 2026 rolls on. It's been pretty good. It's been good. It's been good.
I'm waiting for the big reveal. Sorry, I'm already on edge. I saw what you did.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna keep it for now because we're gonna jump right into this World Baseball Classic action. Just a reminder, you can always follow us on X at Mike Napolitano or at Dalton Cooper, but also on Instagram, AM1410 WRMN, or on The Rise 1410. That's on TikTok as well. Same for our personals on Instagram. But we're gonna jump into some WBC talk here right now, but we also have some talk at 11 a.m. because we have the American Association of Professional Baseball Commissioner Josh Schaub, who sat down with us to do an interview. We'll be talking a little bit of WBC with him, but also BCL, Baseball Champions League. And we explain a little bit about what that is. So you baseball fans that want a little bit more, even after the WBC and before the actual start of the season, whether you're an AA fan, a Frontier League fan, or an actual MLB fan, of course, you're going to be a fan of all of it. If you're a true baseball fan, you could get a little bit of satisfaction in that small window in between. But boy, oh boy, has this World Baseball Classic been all too good for us. It's been exciting.
Oh, it's been great. I mean, they said it in the, I think in the last full play game for the USA, or maybe it was the game or the third game. Before the interview with Aaron Judge, it's like playoff baseball in March. It's a good time. It's when they played Mexico. Yeah, it's like playoff baseball, so it's a great way to start the season. I don't know about you, I'm starting to worry about Bryce Harper if I'm the Phillies. I've kind of noticed he's been maybe not the player that I thought he was in my imagination. Maybe he's outgrown that. I don't know. He has been in the league for like 15 years. Think about it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm way too high now. Okay. Yeah. I couldn't hear myself at all at first, and I was like, am I even on? Okay. Yeah. Listen, Bryce Harper has always been the bridesmaid and never the bride here for a little bit. Connor McDavid, Bryce Harper, a lot of comparisons. Because I don't know if Bryce Harper is the best in baseball, but I mean, he's a superstar nonetheless, just like a Connor McDavid. And he gets traded from the Nationals right before they go to a World Series. He loses a World Series with the Phillies to the Astros. I mean, he's always been right on that doorstep, and it's time. Can the U.S. get it done? Well, the U.S. this past week thought that they had their ticket punched, is the expression that they were saying. And, oh, yeah, this has got to be my Mamma Mia of the week. You go into your fourth round robin game in this tournament, and you pretty much thought, okay, we could lose to Italy tonight. A couple of the guys, Mark DeRosa was saying, a couple of the guys had a long night. It wasn't that they were partying or doing anything irresponsible. It was just they were kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, shooting the crap. I don't. Word for word.
Yeah, I've got it right here in front of me.
Oh, go.
It's weird. We want to win this game, even though our ticket's punched.
Aye. Your ticket's not punched, guy.
Yeah. Go ahead. That kind of, I remember seeing the exact quote, and I was like, how'd that happen? How did you walk yourself?
Yeah, I don't know what they got wrong. Maybe they were thinking it was like the Olympics where you have the 3 games and then it's, round robin's done. You're into the elimination rounds, but this is 4. There were 5 teams per pool in this World Baseball Classic. So you play 4 other teams. You play 4 games. The United States was 3-0. They weren't 4-0. They go into this Thursday night matchup against. Wait, no. When? Right. Oh, it was Tuesday. Tuesday was the USA versus Italy, and USA loses to Italy. Italy was out in front of them 8-0 at one point. The U.S. did climb back. I think halfway through the game, they realized, hey, wait a minute, this. Yeah, huge game for Chicago fans because you have solo home runs from Kyle Teal and Sam Antonacci for the White Sox, but then a 3-run home run. Antonacci. I'm going to get into that in just a second. But then Pete Crow Armstrong, that 3-run bomb that gives USA a little bit of hope. And actually, it was crucial because of the run differential. It pulled the U.S. within, I think at that point, it pulled them within 3. It was 8-5, but they ended up losing 8-6. And the 3-run shot really helped because now going into Wednesday's matchup, Italy versus Mexico, Italy either had to just outright win to get the U.S. in, or if Mexico scored 5 runs, I think it would have been something like 8 runs or 9 runs that Mexico would have had to score for the run differential to work out in favor of the U.S. But 5 runs was all they needed. And in fact, Italy did win. They go 4-0. All the big dog teams went 4-0. That was huge for most of these teams. And you look at the pools, Italy 4-0, Japan 4-0, Dominican Republic 4-0, but Canada and Puerto Rico 3-1. So that was an interesting bracket over in Pool A. USA gets paired up with Canada once again. And as Herb Brooks would say, again, USA beats Canada in the gold medal match for the women's side in hockey. USA beats Canada in the men's side in hockey for a gold medal. And one more time, last night, USA defeats Canada for the quarterfinal round in the World Baseball Classic. So Canada just taking L's to the United States left and right. And spoiler alert, we've got one more matchup between USA and Canada in a game that means quite a bit tomorrow with the sled hockey in the Paralympics. The U.S. men have been absolutely dominating, but so have the... Yeah, that's another Mamma Mia. Seeded rivalry? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who approved this?
To make sure that you saw it. I'm not laughing at it. I just thought it was really funny that it took. Is that a copyright rule? But yeah, it's well done marketing. You take it and you run with it.
I guess so. I can't really hear you. Are you? I think it's getting stuck again. Go for it. Oh no, still got nothing. But seeded rivalry is crazy. I don't know who said that was okay, but yeah, yikes. I would just go with the gold medal match between USA and Canada once again. Deja vu for USA versus Canada.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get part 2. I think we got it too. I see levels now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was seeing levels over here.
Yeah, well, they were all muted when I came in too. So that's why I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh no, we're gonna let it fly, or like David Tees was talking about, let it fly. So tee it high, baby. But no, well,
seeded rivalry,
crazy
work
for sled hockey. I mean, it's a great use of the market. I mean, shout out to the marketing team. Like, heated rivalry got a lot of buzz. Like, I'm literally at bowling league and like, oh, you like hockey? Have you seen heated rivals? And I'm like, what is, like, I had to be educated on what that was. So
I'm not trying to be sensitive about the subject or I think the term that some people use is snowflake. He's a snowflake, but like, is that not? I know I'm not of that community, but is that not a little offensive? Like, who approved this? I will still ask the question. I'm so confused. That's fine, though. I mean, let's get one more gold medal for USA and one more win over Canada. We'll get into that a little bit more when we talk hockey. But first and foremost, we got to continue on with the World Baseball Classic. So the U.S. goes 3-1 with that one loss to Italy. They defeat Canada yesterday 5-3. And there were some tense moments in that game that Bednar had to work out of a bases-loaded jam. So it was not just an easy cakewalk for the USA over Canada yesterday. Like I said, Canada also went 3-1 in the pool and the exact same record as Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican team will match up with Team Italy. So how it went was the second-place team in Pool B plays the first-place team in Pool A and vice versa. First-place team in Pool B plays second-place team. So that's how USA matched up with Canada, who took first place based on run differential. Puerto Rico will match up against Italy today. And that means, my friends, I love my country and I love the USA. But you got to remember,
here we go. This guy.
I am Italian.
Yes.
Especially today. Look out, everybody. Look out, Puerto Rico. Tilo. Our friend Tony Lopez on the show. He's been on multiple times to talk boxing and to talk baseball, maybe a little basketball in there too. Sir, my friend, we are not friends today. Today at 2 o'clock, it is going to be nothing but espressos and cannolis. None of this, what do they got over in Puerto Rico? The Puerto Rican rice, and they've got the, what is the other thing? Mofongo, is that a thing? That's a thing in Puerto Rico, I believe.
Don't ask me. You talk yourself into this.
Tilo, I don't care what food you got. We got
pudding.
We got lasagna. What is that? What is that? We got lasagna. We got tiramisu. What are you talking about here? Huh? Cannolis. We got the biscotti. We got the pizzelles. And you're telling me that Puerto Rico's got culture? I don't think so, Tilo. I don't think so. It's all Italy today.
Oh, wow.
It's all Italy.
Oh, wow.
I just went after their entire culture. That's crazy.
It's
all jokes.
It's Tilo. I'm talking to everybody.
What do you got? What do you got over there in Puerto Rico? What can match up against Italian food? What? Yeah, wow. Honestly.
I just can't wait until Puerto Rico wins. It's going to be really funny watching this back.
Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and a quarterfinal win. That's what Italy's got today, baby.
Yeah.
That's what we got. And we got a couple others like Louis Prima and stuff like that too.
Yeah, we got Dominican and USA. That's going to be quite a game. I think, like I said, that's when Bryce Harper's got to show up, man. We're getting into the big boy games. That's on Sunday, by the way.
Yeah, Sunday, Dominican Republic and the United States. That should be an exciting one as
Paul Skeens, though,
against Servino on the mound. That's why Italy is favored. Excuse me, I'm still on Italy. That's why the USA is favored.
Where'd your accent go? Or is that not? Wait, or is this your accent?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Well, I went back to talking about the United States of America.
Right.
And they're playing the Dominican Republic, and Paul Skeens is going to be on the mound. That's a 7 p.m. start time here in local time on FS1 tomorrow. But today we're talking about the Italy, and they got a couple of good guys out there. Kyle Teal, he is injured. So White Sox fans, it's a little bit disappointing because he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. He was running to second base, and you just see him pull it on the way. It's tragic, honestly. It's just terrible.
It's terrible.
But that Sam Antonacci might be my new favorite player. I'll tell you that much right now.
3 home runs against Mexico, didn't he?
Huge. Yeah. Big guy.
Or
Big.
maybe against Canada. But
do
we know the starter for Team Italy tonight?
Let me look that up for you.
Aldegheri.
It's something with an I at the end, I'll tell you that, or it's an O.
Sam Aldegheri. I've never heard. I just didn't know it with you and your expertise on everything Italian.
Of course I know.
I wasn't sure if you had heard of him before.
I see right here. Yeah, Seth Lugo versus Aldegheri. Yeah, he pitches for the Angels. Angels, not too good of a ball club, I'll tell you that much right now. But I think this guy, he's going to be doing good. 24 years old, 6'1", 210, lefty. They're not going to be able to... He's actually born in Verona, Italy.
Okay. I was going to say, can we give it
this is the one Italian on the team that's not actually born in New Jersey or New York.
I've noticed that with some of the teams. I was like, is this really like it's not like the Olympics? I don't know. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I like the guy. He better do good for us.
Yeah.
Or else, you know.
The heritage.
Yeah. Number 61. Who's wearing 61 in baseball? That's crazy. Seth Lugo.
Literally.
Seth Lugo on the mound for the for Puerto Rico. He was born in LA though, so I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you. But okay. 2 p.m. start time there. The Venezuela versus Japan game will be at 8 p.m. Central Time. That should be a good one as well. Japan, Venezuela, 2 powerhouses right there.
By the way, Roger Maris wore number 61.
Okay, then I like 61. Never mind. 61's a good number. Forgot about that old Roger Maris guy. Yeah. Suarez versus Yamamoto in the Venezuela game. Ranger Suarez has looked phenomenal, but Yamamoto, a phenomenal Dodgers star, of course. So that'll be exciting. Switching over, I know nobody's really been watching it, but when we talk about the rest of what is going on in the baseball world, it is the spring training that's taking place despite most of the star players being at the WBC. The White Sox have had a rocky week, no pun intended. They did play the Colorado Rockies. They beat them 12-3 on Monday. That was coming off of a win on Saturday and Sunday. So 4 straight wins for the White Sox dating back to last weekend after we jumped off the microphones. But then they get the loss to the Athletics on Tuesday, a loss against the Los Angeles Angels. I just criticized those Angels, and here they are beating our White Sox on Wednesday.
No. Is that foreshadowing?
I know. A tie. There's no tying in baseball, but a tie in spring training against the San Francisco Giants. But the most important headline for the White Sox in the past week during spring training and during this busy World Baseball Classic, a 4-2 victory over the Chicago Cubs in the Cactus League. The White Sox have beat the Cubs all 3 times in this Cactus League play, and they did so in nice fashion. 4-2 victory, but when you talk about who was getting it done for the White Sox, it was a Lee homer to center, 425 feet, and a Pereira homer to left. So the bats are coming out for the White Sox even when their big bats are out at WBC at the moment. So yeah. Corey Lee and forgive me, I'm not familiar with Pereira. Everson Pereira.
I was looking through Austin Hayes' stats right now, too. Austin Hayes is having a good spring. He's got 3 homers, 35 at-bats. He's hitting .371. He comes over from the Reds organization, too. That's why that name sounded familiar. But he's kind of bounced around a little bit between Baltimore, a couple other teams, Philly, stuff like that. But it's almost like it's weird that I can almost say that you can maybe be more optimistic about the White Sox than the Cubs, just because it's like for the Cubs, it's like championship or bust. To where like if somehow the White Sox team were literally, if we're in the second week of September and we're like, oh my God, the White Sox are 3 games out of a wild card spot. I feel like that stock would be so much higher, even if the Cubs were leading the NL Central. You know what I mean? Like it's
possible. Listen, I
the pitching is what scares me. Obviously.
Yeah, it's going to be that depth pitching and the bullpen. When we're talking about depth specifically, it's the bullpen, but also finalizing that rotation. You still have a lot of young arms that are developing. Some that'll still be down in AAA. But it should be a good season for the White Sox. I'll be happy if they go. And I know this is even a big ask compared to how much of a jump it would be from last year, but they went from 41 wins 2 years ago to about 60 wins last year, so about a 20-win jump. I think you could do another 20-win jump and get back to 81 and be 500. I think that's a relatively good goal to set with these young stars coming up. My one friend last night, I was talking with a friend of mine, Sam, who's a big White Sox fan. He was saying 91 wins. I'm like, listen, pal. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. But, with the weak Central Division, if the White Sox are getting their wins over their division opponents, I could see it happening. I think the Tigers and maybe the Guardians or the Kansas City Royals are really the only teams to worry about here. The Twins, I don't know what is going on in Minnesota. That dumpster fire of a team that is the Minnesota Twins after last year. Just sell it all. But I can either see the big stars like Vinny Pasquantino, my boy, Vinny Pasquantino. What do you hear? What do you say? Says Grant Lita. Vinny Pasquantino, but also Bobby Witt Jr. that you're seeing for the USA side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Those stars are coming up, and they're going to make that Kansas City Royals team tough to play against. Are the Guardians still there, or was that a little bit more of a flash in the pan last year? I don't know.
They've been like one of the most consistent teams. They've probably been the most consistent team in this division over the last decade.
That's not saying much, though.
No, that's fair. But I mean, you got the Tigers, too, obviously.
Right, yeah. But the Tigers did go to arbitration with Tarek Skubal. So
yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
We did, and there's a lot more that we can get into later on down the line when the CBA comes up for the MLB season next year and the potential lockout and all the contract negotiations and money becomes a factor. But for now, we'll just ride it out and enjoy the baseball. We've got, yes, more baseball, World Baseball Classic. Like I said, today at 2 and at 8, the earlier game, Puerto Rico and Italy, the later game, Venezuela and Japan. Tomorrow will be the semifinals, USA versus Dominican Republic with Paul Skeens on the mound against Luis Severino at 7 p.m. Monday will be the winners of today's matchups playing in the semifinals at 7 p.m. on FS1, and that'll all lead into Tuesday's championship. That is the World Baseball Classic final at 7 p.m. on Fox from Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. So that should be exciting.
It was electric last night, the atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is for sure. You had the USA chants going back and forth. And just, I mean, the stadiums are packed for these games. You look back, and I think it was, and I don't want to give too much away from our interview that's coming up at 11 o'clock, but our friend Josh Schaub was talking about how nobody thought this World Baseball Classic would be anything back in 2006 when they were barely getting it started, barely selling tickets. Not a whole lot of people had heard about it. Even go back to like 2017 or 2023. I think 2023 was when things really started to kick off for the WBC. Maybe you could argue 2017, but I mean, there's only been a few countries that have won it. And it depends, I think, on how much it means to your country. Here in the USA, it was like, it's another baseball tournament. We already have the World Series in a full 162-game season, and anybody that's got a big market team is already paying attention to the start of the season there. So now I think it's starting to mean a little bit more, especially in a year like 2026 when pretty much every best on best is happening. You've got hockey, you've got sled hockey, you've got FIFA World Cup, you've got PGA Tour, you've got World Baseball Classic, and then, like we said, the World Baseball Classic also runs the Baseball Champions League, which will be coming up, and we'll be talking about that with Josh Schaub.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well said.
It's great.
I was looking at the upcoming White Sox. They play, for their schedule, they play the Dodgers today at 3:05 on MLB TV, and then you have the Royals on Sunday, the Rangers on Monday at 7:05 MLB Network, and then Tuesday is the Athletics. The Diamondbacks is Thursday. They play a doubleheader on Thursday, by the way. Is that two? They're two squadding it, if you will.
Oh yeah, split squad.
Yeah, the platoons. So they play Arizona and San Diego on Thursday, Los Angeles on Friday. Revenge match. Every time that the White Sox play the Angels, you're on watch this season. We just learned that since you.
I guess so. I opened my big Italian mouth on that one.
And then Saturday is Cincinnati. So they do have a couple games on MLB TV, and then you can listen to them live here on 1410 WRMN.
Cubs had a decent week as well. A couple of wins sprinkled in, but then that loss against the White Sox, as I mentioned, they are 9-11 in spring training ball. The White Sox are 12-9-1. That one tie, but we'll get to we'll get more spring training ball to you once all of these baseball tournaments kind of take a pause and we get closer towards the MLB season. It's coming up faster than expected. Everything ends on March 24th. That's when the Baseball Champions League starts. So you get that small window in between spring training and WBC and the actual regular season for baseball. But we're going to take things over to another USA versus Canada again. It's the Paralympics that are going on right now. Declan Farmer, we got to talk. He's got so many goals. USA versus Canada right here on AM 1410 WRMN's On the Rise.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Chicagoland? Need trusted legal help with real estate, evictions, or estate planning? Turn to Guthrie & Brady, the happy lawyers serving the greater Chicago area since 1965. With over 50 years of experience, they handle titles and deeds, foreclosures, landlord-tenant issues, wills, trusts, and more. Appointments available evenings or weekends at their Roselle office or right in your home. Call Guthrie & Brady now at 847-524-1215. That's 847-524-1215. Or visit gnblegal.com. Guthrie & Brady, personal, professional, affordable legal services for all of Chicagoland. The happy lawyers since 1965. That's gnblegal.com. Or 847-524-1215. Guthrie & Brady, trusted legal help, made easy, fast, affordable, and experienced. Call today.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
For a little lighthearted lawlessness on Sunday afternoons, listen to Handle on the Law from 4 to 7 p.m. Handle on the Law is a unique combination of useful legal advice and outrageous handle remarks. Whether you're talking about Big Brother, big business, big legal problems, or Big Macs, you'll rarely find Bill without an opinion. His rapid-fire commentary gives listeners the information they crave in the way they crave it. It's Handle on the Law, Sunday afternoons from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
I'm Danielle Penman, a registered nurse, conservative Republican, and longtime resident of St. Charles running for state senator. I'm focused on cutting taxes, supporting law enforcement, and holding Springfield accountable, because Illinois families deserve better.
Paid for by Friends for Danielle Penman.
Welcome back. AM 1410 WRMN. Mike Napolitano alongside Dalton Cooper, bringing you On the Rise here from 10 a.m. to noon. Stay tuned. We've got a great interview for you here at 11 a.m. with the Commissioner of the American Association, Josh Schaub, to talk more baseball. But we're going to pivot from baseball real quick into our hockey talk just a little bit here, and that's where I got to go back into USA mode because the United States are once again in a gold medal match. It is the USA versus Canada. Deja vu, a chance to take a third gold medal from the Canadians in their own sports, this time in sled hockey in the Paralympics. And boy, oh boy, have this men's team been rolling. The tournament only started after we got off the microphones last week, and that was a 14-1 victory for Team USA. They outshot Italy. Yikes, I'm torn. They outshot Italy 53-2. Someone should have told the Italian sled hockey team that the tournament started last week, because I don't think they were awake for that game. Monday, the USA beats Germany 13-0.
Yeah.
That is the largest shutout margin in Team USA Paralympic sled hockey history. They also outshot that German team 41-1.
Wow.
I mean, talk about dominance. Declan Farmer became the first American to reach the 50-point mark in Olympic history. And spoiler alert, he has had a hat trick in every single game that this U.S. sled hockey team has played in. We also had 3 straight gold medals for Team USA, along with Chicago native Brody Roybal. Josh Pauls, the captain, has had 4 straight gold medals for Team USA, so he's defending his title, going for the 5-peat here as well. The U.S. is the only country that has ever achieved 4 straight gold medals in Paralympic sled hockey history.
Wow.
But the USA did not stop there. They were closing
their combined
out.
scores is insane. I'm looking at it right here.
They closed out the preliminary round Tuesday with a 7-1 victory over China. They took a little backseat. They took their foot off the gas a little bit. 7-1 over China. They were okay.
Just to give you some math on that, that's 34-2 in 3 games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 3 games. Oh my God.
They outshot China 31-9. They went 5 for 9 on the power play, while China was 0 for 3 on the power play.
Do you think they call tripping in sled hockey?
I think there is a form of tripping.
Is there? Okay.
I think you can't. There's a like you can't get your stick underneath somebody's
the blade.
board.
Okay.
But like it's a lot easier to kind of topple over in sled hockey. I'd have to double check those rules. I have not really seen a tripping call from the. I watched yesterday morning's game, but I haven't seen too much of any kind of tripping calls. Declan Farmer, he's a Tampa, Florida native. He tallied his 54th career Paralympic point and a new all-time record. Farmer completed this hat trick in 59 seconds just into the 3rd period as he ripped the puck away from Chinese defender, a Chinese defender near the crease, and slid the puck home to give the USA a 7-0 advantage. Also, I had mentioned Brody Roybal in there, North Lake, Illinois native. He added a 3rd U.S. tally, his first goal of the tournament at 2:22 the middle frame. And if Freebird wasn't already the most played song in 2026, with the men and women both winning gold in the Olympics, the entire country celebrating, well, the Paralympic men are going to make sure that Leonard Skinner is on repeat. They outscored, like you said, their opponents 34-2 in those preliminary rounds. And then that semifinal round yesterday was against Czechia. The USA gets it done with another dominant victory. I believe that was 6-1 yesterday. So rolling right along. Declan Farmer, another hat trick, like I said. So they will be playing in the gold medal game at 10:05 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning. The bronze medal game is at 6:05. So if you want to wake up really early and see Czechia play again. I forgot who Canada knocked off.
Canada knocked off China.
China. Okay, so it'll be Czechia.
4-2.
Czechia and China. I did know that. I didn't have that written down. But Czechia and China in the bronze medal game at 6:05 a.m. Central Time. 10:05. We get the nicer start for the Team USA against Canada matchup again. As Herb Brooks would say. This is crazy. I mean,
Team Canada's undefeated going into this matchup with the U.S. as well. They had a combined preliminary round aggregate score of 26-1.
Yeah, they've been dominant.
So they gave up 1 less goal than the Americans did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, our buddy Nick Johnston listening in. He says if there's tripping in Paralympic hockey, that's diabolical.
Yeah. I thought it was a fair question, and I'm glad you took it in the route you did.
Yeah, I think there's probably certain things you can't do, that is like an equivalent to tripping, but I don't think it's full on tripping.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Don't trip the guy, you know.
Yeah,
don't trip his sled.
No, interference. I feel like is probably the biggest penalty, just because it's probably
there've been a couple
angles and stuff can change drastically.
There have been a couple of calls along the boards and stuff like that. I guess you can't run into a guy really hard. It's still if you're looking at the guy's numbers, I think you can't run them from behind. So
they gotta have amazing delts. That's all I can think of too. Their shoulders have to be so big from it's crazy. Just watching them actually play the sport is insane.
We even had a Michigan goal. I don't know if you saw that. That was Canada that was Italy versus Japan, and it was an Italian skater just picked that puck up on they have two blades. So he took one of his blades, picks the puck up, and stuffs it in. That was impressive to watch. I'm not sure the gentleman's name, but that was fun to see as well. But Declan Farmer, I mean, if you didn't see the Michigan, you've been seeing plenty of highlight reel goals from him anyway. So that has been exciting to
Nico Landeros, Landeros. So.
Molto bene. We're pulling it back out over here.
Yeah.
Italy will be playing a couple. I think they play today in the 5th, 6th seeding, because there is like lower seeding games that are still happening in this tournament. So that'll be interesting to see. I think it's just, so that they could kind of gauge where teams are at coming out of this tournament, even if they're not medaling. But yeah, that should be fine. On the U.S. side of things, the Blackhawks did resume their season after the Olympic break. We talked about, we left off with that 6-3 loss to the Vancouver Canucks in brutal fashion last Friday. I forgot to mention, there was also an e-bug situation, emergency backup goaltender, with Arvid Soderblom in net, and Spencer Knight was announced as unavailable due to an illness before the game, forcing the Hawks to sign local goaltender Caden Edwards to a PTO, that's professional tryout, to serve as backup goaltender. That was per our friend Charlie Remeliotis of WGN Radio. Edwards frequently serves as a practice goaltender for the Blackhawks and coaches the local Chicago Phantoms 16U AAA team. Ethan Del Mastro was also called up for that game. And then Saturday, we spoke about the passing of Blackhawks legend and radio broadcaster Troy Murray. He was diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago. He did not publicly disclose the type of cancer that he had, but memorials galore over the past weekend, and we'll get to the one the Blackhawks had. But first, they were on the road Sunday against Dallas. They blew a 2-0 lead after goals from Bertuzzi and Rinzel were cut in half with goals from Nathan Bastian, and then 42 seconds into the third period from Maverick Bourque. And then halfway through the third, Justin Ritzkowian with a power play goal for Dallas for them to take the lead. But Connor Bedard answers in great fashion. Just a minute and 20 to go. And with the goaltender pulled and the sixth attacker out there for Chicago, Connor Bedard ties it up in order to get the Blackhawks 1 point, at least in this one. However, 22 seconds into overtime, Miro Heiskanen with the OT game-winning goal for Dallas, and the Hawks fall 4-3. But they pick up a point, so they take that into Monday's game against Utah. They were back home for the first time since that news about Troy Murray. Blackhawks honored him there as well. Our friend and former guest on the show, Katrina Vlasic, she made a banner remembering Troy Murray that was hung right underneath the WGN broadcasting booth. But Dallas had also left flowers for the broadcasting booth while they were on the road in Texas. Those were brought back to the booth for Monday night's game against the Mammoth. Drew Commesso got the start in this game. He was called up with Kevin Korchinski and Nick Lardis. Korchinski didn't see any ice time in this one, and Ethan Del Mastro was sent back down to Rockford. But Barrett Hayton and Dylan Gunther bookend the scoring in the first, but the Blackhawks are only down 2-1 thanks to Andrew Mangiapane's first goal as a Blackhawk, molto bene. Andre Burakovsky, though, scores a mini Michigan, another Michigan, in the second. This one was first, though. That was assisted by Bedard, who passes Eddie Olczyk for most assists as a Blackhawk through 200 games with 116. That was also with Eddie's son, Nick Olczyk, in the building broadcasting for the Utah Mammoth. So that was a nice little full circle moment right there. This game was tied at 2 and went into overtime. I was going to say overtime, deja vu. When on a night honoring the late number 19, it's number 91, Frank Nazar, who scores the extra point for Troy Murray and the Blackhawks to take the extra point in this one, 3-2 with an OT GWG. Commesso gets his second NHL victory and stops 23 of 25 for a .920 goals against average. That was huge.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
They went on the road against Utah on Thursday nights, and the Blackhawks got a victory in that one, which also went to overtime. That was crazy.
Blackhawks got the sweep.
Blackhawks swept the Mammoth in the season series. And I don't know if you caught Connor Bedard staring down fans during every goal the Blackhawks scored in that one. The Blackhawks were held scoreless for the majority of the game. They get things tied up late in the third. Just when you think that they're going to be losing that game, they pull that one into overtime as well. And it's Nick Lardis out there on the ice with Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar. And the shot goes off the pads and to the back door, and a rolling puck. I believe it actually drilled the iron as well on the far post. And Connor Bedard on the back doorstep. This time it's number 98, not number 91, who gets that tally into the back door and then stares down a fan in Utah right after.
Wonder what the fan said.
I know afterwards, Connor Bedard said something too. We might have to have John Boy Media check to see what he was actually saying, because I couldn't quite tell, because the way the shot was, there were a couple hands, and whether that was the crowd through the glass or the teammates of Bedard coming over to hug him. But he goes up and says something to a fan, and then you just see the photo that came out from the NHL from the other side of the rink.
Apparently, he was calling him a B word, like a female dog.
Oh,
that fan was
Connor.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, McLean Lundqvist, the man Bedard called a B word, was interviewed after the game and asked about the interaction. He goes, "I kind of deserved it."
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if the guy's all right with it, and maybe
you're gonna heckle. That's part of the game.
It's part of the game.
So.
It was so funny because you see him from the other angle. There was a shot from across the rink, and you see Bedard's back as he's skating towards the fan and in the glass, and the fans just got 2 thumbs down. So he was heckling. He was heckling too. So you got to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
So
it's funny that he pointed out like a Pete Weber kind of situation. It's almost like a who do you think you are? I am.
Who do you think you are? I am.
But no, the Blackhawks are currently 8 points out of the second wild card spot. They are floating right around 500. I believe they are 25, 29, and 11 on the season, which is an improvement. It is a step in the right direction, which is kind of what we all wanted. I don't think they have a very small chance of making the playoffs. Let's put it that way. The teams they are chasing, though, are not exactly, I don't think, that much better than them. I mean, they just swept Utah, who was in the first wild card spot for the season series. And then every team from the LA Kings down to the Blackhawks, I don't think is like astronomically better, except maybe you could argue the Sharks because they have Macklin Celebrini, but they don't have Spencer Knight. So
right.
I don't want to like give up hope yet, but the other nice thing too is it's nice to see Nick Lourdes and Drew Comesso and I'm forgetting one other,
Ethan
Korchinski and Ethan Del Mastro. It's nice to see that homegrown talent, like it is taking a step in the right direction. So, because I know everybody's giving Levshunov kind of a hard time, where he's going back and having to relearn things off the ice and X, Y, and Z. So it's nice to see, maybe that got resolved. And then also, the guys behind it aren't seeing the same trouble, which means hopefully the problem is resolved.
And I don't know if we talked about it on this show maybe last week, but when we talk about Artem Levshunov, he is that odd, I don't want to call him an oddball, but like he kind of, beats to his own drum at times, where he doesn't play as structurally, which can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. Right. And you want to give him that creative freedom to be unique and catch, forwards off guard and play his defensive style. But at the same time, like, you want to let him know, like, hey, this is the NHL. And if you try something way too far outside the box, you're going to get burned. And you see that when 2 of the Blackhawks lines are leading, I think we did talk about this last week, I can't remember. 2 of the Blackhawks lines are leading the NHL in minuses, in the plus-minus category. That is I
think it's 2 like in the top 5.
Yeah. It's I don't know what the numbers are at now after these last couple of games, but the Artem Levshunov and Wyatt Kaiser line was at a -20, and the Alex Vlasic and Louis Crevier line was at a -16. That's not good at all, especially this deep into the season. You want to be, if you're going to be a team under 500, missing the playoffs, not in a wild card spot, you want to be at worst maybe -10.
Well, as of this graphic, which is, oh, no, never mind, because that was February 27th. But they were -20 at that point, Kaiser and Levshunov. So I can only imagine that it's probably gotten worse since that point. But yeah, they are definitely 2 of the top 6 worst pairings.
And it might only get worse this week, as the Blackhawks have a very tough schedule ahead of themselves.
Oh my God, yes, they have Murderer's Row.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And then we talk about how that Western Division, that Pacific Division is a little bit weaker, and you're going to get some Pacific Division teams in here, but
the Hawks screwed that up.
They're the good ones.
Well, if you looked at the schedule before they beat the 2 Utah games, you were kind of recapping there. Like they drop an overtime game against Winnipeg. Like, if you're going to make a playoff run, I feel like you gotta the way the points are set up. Yeah, you gotta win. Like, you gotta win in regulation because you're chasing those guys. And then obviously Vancouver, you drop that 6-3. Like,
that needed to be a win.
That needed to be a win. Yeah, and then kind of leading into the Olympic break, they kind of stubbed their toe. They dropped 1 Pittsburgh, they dropped 1 Columbus. So it's just They're learning. They're learning. It's just it's hard to have a lot of faith that it's going to happen.
And Utah, for a little while there, I believe they're still in that wild card race. I don't know if they're in that wild card spot. I think they're outside looking in at the moment. But you just gave them 2 points. Yes, you took 4 points from them, but deja vu with the 3-2 overtime victories is a good thing to an extent because you got the wins, but you gave them points throughout the way. It's so funny, though, because you take a very tough Dallas Stars team to overtime and get a point out of them, but you can't beat Utah in regulation. So it's just an odd, matchups kind of thing. Vancouver, like you said, should have been a win. Winnipeg, maybe you take the 2 points from them cleanly in regulation. But now you're going to have Vegas tonight at 9 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. Vegas may not look too good tonight. I don't know.
They play a lot of overtime games. So if you want to get frisky, it may be better to go overtime.
Yeah. So, it might be a little bit of this team doesn't look too bad, but they'll take you to overtime.
They have
and get
74 points, 22 regulation wins in 66 games played. So really not that great, honestly.
And then you have the first of back-to-back games against the Minnesota Wild. The first one at home on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. That'll be the Blackhawks St. Patrick's Day celebration. Who planned this? Who planned for the Blackhawks to play against a green team on St. Patrick's Day?
You know what's really funny is that same thing happened with the Wolves this past weekend. They literally were playing the Texas Stars. And I literally asked one of the ladies working the game, I was like, out of all the teams they could have picked to play, wear the green jerseys against, why'd they pick a team that also wears green?
Right, and you did it like a whole week and a half away from St. Patrick's Day. Like, I think the Wolves, I think they're
on the road.
Yeah, so that's why. But yeah, you could have waited until you weren't playing a green team. That was a couple years ago.
They could have maybe done it Wednesday night when they played.
Yeah, a couple years ago, the White Sox had a Hawaiian shirt giveaway, and it was like this light blue.
And they played the Royals, didn't they?
They played the Texas Rangers.
Oh, nice.
And it was when the Rangers were still kind of in that light blue phase, and it's like it looks like the entire stadium is rooting for the away team right here. Who planned this? Who decided this was a good idea? But this will be the first time that the 35th captain in franchise history, Nick Foligno, will be making his return to Chicago after he was dealt at the trade deadline. But then Thursday, the Blackhawks will go on the road to face that same Minnesota team. Once again, a 6:30 p.m. puck drop. This will be on ESPN and Hulu.
Tickets as low as $104 for that game, by the way.
In Minnesota?
In Minneapolis, yeah.
Wow.
I guess they don't play in Minneapolis. They play in St. Paul. But yeah, for Minnesota.
Yeah. This is a really tough Minnesota team this year. You got to love them. Quinn Hughes has been phenomenal even before
They won the
Olympic
trade
break.
deadline a month before it happened.
Did.
Yeah.
They did. And you pull in a guy like Nick Foligno to play with his brother Marcus Foligno just to add that little bit of extra veteran presence there. Who am I forgetting there? You got Kirill Kaprizov, who signs that extension.
Matt Boldy's also really good.
Matt Boldy, anybody remembers that gold medal game? He scored that first goal. And then I'm missing. Brock Faber.
Yeah, Brock Faber. But they also signed. They had another. They have Vladimir Tarasenko, who's been playing decent this year as well.
I always forget that he's there.
Yeah. And they have. He was a right winger. Used to play for the Rangers as well.
Zuccarello. Yeah. Zuccarello's been there for a hot minute, and it'd be nice to see that team get some success, even though, as a Blackhawks fan, it kind of pains me to say I want to see the Wild get some success. It's just that fan base has not seen the second round of the playoffs in how long? Yeah, pretty much.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jesper Wallstedt, too, goaltender, should be interesting because they already have Gustafsson, who's pretty good. So, yeah, really good hockey team. The top of the Central is... that is going to be... Yeah, thanks, Gary Bettman. And thanks for that. Appreciate it. It's so silly.
Speaking of that top of the Central, it'll be Friday, a 7:30 p.m. start time at home against the Colorado Avalanche, who have been absolutely dominant this year. That'll be on ESPN Plus, and it is also your last chance to see the black jerseys in action, as the Blackhawks have been bringing those back and wearing those on Friday nights. So that'll be exciting as well.
Yeah, talk about another get. Nazem Kadri.
Oh, yeah. They bring Kadri back at the deadline for
no one's
Colorado.
talking about this. It's a little underrated. They're fighting a little bit of the injury bug right now. They're missing Lehkonen. They're missing Landeskog.
And they're still doing this.
Yeah.
Well, this is incredible.
I guess, in speaking of lack of injury bug, did you see that Brett Burns is now second on the Ironman streak of 999 consecutive starts now that he's made?
Oh, so will his
he is playing in Colorado, by the way.
Okay,
I believe he hit 1,000. Let me double check here on my side. But I'm almost positive that he had an Ironman streak going.
If he didn't, and they don't have a game until Tuesday, it'll be at the United Center.
Second most consecutive games played in NHL history at 989. That is Brett Burns. He tied Keith Yandel, and that was as of 2 days ago.
989. So he's still got a little ways to go.
Yeah.
But he might hit 1,000. That's incredible. Playing for the Wild
this season.
He looks so
Fingers
weird.
crossed.
Or excuse me, playing for the Colorado Avalanche. I was going to say it looks so weird to see him in an Avs jersey because when he first started in the league, he was with the Wild. Went over to the Sharks for the longest time. I still picture him as a Shark for most of the time, but then I also covered him when I was covering the Carolina Hurricanes for some time. So I kind of also see him as a Hurricane. And then when I saw that, I missed the trade. I didn't even see it, but when I saw all of a sudden
he didn't. It was signed on free agency.
Free agency, excuse me. Yeah, but I didn't even realize that he went to Colorado, and then I saw him when I was watching a Blackhawks game one night early on in the season when they were playing Colorado, and I'm like, Brent Burns is on Colorado? That's... I mean, shouldn't there be some cap restrictions here? What is going on? But he is a little bit older.
Yeah, he's 40.
Yeah.
But he's also averaged a little over 23 minutes a night in those consecutive games, which is crazy.
He's a tank. I mean, even though he's 40, he's one of those guys that, he's got the backpack full of either supplements or whatever that can keep him healthy and keep him rearing to go even at the ripe age of 40. In hockey, that's old. Just ask Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah, right. And we have the high school championship for girls this weekend as well. Check out that at Allstate Arena, and then followed by the Wolves and Grand Rapids, which the Wolves are kind of sputtering right now. I don't know if you saw that.
They are a little bit. Hopefully they could get things back on track, especially before playing a very tough Grand Rapids team. Grand Rapids is, even though they're the farm team for the Red Wings, they are the Colorado Avalanche of the AHL. They're the
greatest AHL team that's ever been assembled.
They refuse to lose, yeah. So we'll see if the Wolves can get back on track. You mentioned the girls' championships last weekend. We got a chance to see, we briefly talked about this, but we didn't get to dive too deep into this. We briefly talked about how it was New Trier versus St. Viator for the varsity red state championship game. St. Viator, three-time defending, New Trier, three-time defending champ, gets knocked off by St. Viator 6-3. We spoke to Ryan Loftus and Albert Perzuara after the game, as well as goaltender Colin Turpin and head coach Tim Benz. But also in the varsity red combined state championship, it was a Buffalo Grove Hawthorne Woods victory of 5-2 over Maine Township. We spoke to forward Ryan Costanza and captain forward Cameron Christopher, who both had 2 points in that game, before we talked to goaltender Ronan Alanes and head coach Chris Waters. Check out some of those interviews. We're dropping those on our social media, so you can check those out. Dalton's been great about getting those out. We also have some photography from that. That was from Dalton and our other gentleman,
Holden Hall.
Holden, yeah.
Yeah. See, I knew you were going to walk yourself right into that.
I know. I was like, why do I always forget his name? I love Holden. Holden was great. But we'll be right back here with that interview with Josh Schaub. Stay tuned for some baseball talk right here on AM 1410 WRMN.
Elgin isn't just a city. It's a community built on connection, innovation, and opportunity. And at the heart of it all is the Elgin Chamber of Commerce. For over a century, the Elgin Chamber has helped local businesses grow, connecting entrepreneurs, advocating for progress, and inspiring the leaders of tomorrow. Whether you're a new business just starting out or an established company looking to expand, the Elgin Chamber is your partner for success. Join a powerful network of leaders making a difference in our community every day. Together, we're shaping the future of Elgin, one connection at a time. Elgin Area Chamber of Commerce, where business and community grow together. Call now, 847-741-5660, or go to info@elginchamber.com. Contact Carol Gieske.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410. Elgin time, 11 o'clock.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump says the U.S. has destroyed military sites on an island vital to Iran's oil network. He also warned the island's oil infrastructure could be next if Iran continues to interfere with the passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. John Gambrell reports on an airstrike near a large gathering in Tehran on Friday.
We saw dramatic footage today out of Iran's capital as an airstrike hit near where thousands were commemorating an annual celebration marking Quds or Jerusalem Day in Tehran. Now, this airstrike came after the Israelis only a short time earlier had warned that they were going to target an area near Tehran University. That's where this Quds Day celebration was taking place.
That is correspondent John Gambrell reporting. U.S. officials say 2,500 more U.S. Marines and an amphibious assault ship are now being sent to the Middle East nearly 2 weeks into the war with the Islamic Republic. Also, a missile struck a helipad inside the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad today. That came after the U.S. destroyed military sites on Karg Island. That's the one that's home to the primary terminal that handles Iran's oil exports. Christiana Mesquita reports on talks between the U.S. and Cuba that are now ongoing.
After several days of speculation, President Diaz-Canel announced that talks between Cuba and the United States have taken place. He added that any negotiations must respect equality, each country's political system, and Cuba's sovereignty and self-determination. Diaz-Canel also said that no oil has entered Cuba in 3 months, calling the impact of U.S. energy blockade tremendous.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
They say when it comes to the weather in March, it's in like a lion, out like a lamb. Correspondent Julie Walker reports the U.S. forecast calls for a little of everything this weekend, from a blizzard to a polar vortex, a heat dome, and even an atmospheric river.
The U.S. getting slammed with weather extremes, flooding rain, record heat, late season snow. Wednesday, D.C. hit a record 86 degrees, then snow on Thursday. Now, meteorologist Mark Chenard with the National Weather Service says the Southwest faces a heat dome with prolonged triple-digit temperatures.
Looking at well above normal temperatures, a lot of places may set their March all-time record highs.
Polar cold pushes into the Midwest and East. 2 northern storms likely to dump feet of snow, with one strengthening into a rare inland bomb cyclone.
Looking like a significant winter storm, there will be blizzard conditions with this, as there will also be strong winds.
I'm Julie Walker.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Home sales rose last month as buyers took advantage of easing mortgage rates and an increase in available pre-owned homes leading into the springtime home buying season.
The National Association of Realtors said Tuesday that existing home sales rose 1.7% last month from January to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.09 million units. Home prices continued to rise last month, albeit more slowly. The national median sales price increased by 0.3% in February from a year earlier to $398,000, an all-time high for any February on data going back to 1999. Home prices have risen on an annual basis for 32 months in a row. Bernie Bennett reporting.
New poll finds economic confidence is on the way up. The Rasmussen Reports Economic Index finds that confidence has increased to 110 this month. On that scale, that's more than 2 points higher than it was in February. You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
Get ready for Around the House every Saturday night from 5 to 7 p.m. on WRMN AM 1410. If you're a homeowner or contractor looking to tackle those projects that feel a bit too big, this is the show for you. Join Eric along with his knowledgeable guests as they dive deep into everything from DIY renovations to creating a healthy home environment. We'll provide you with the tools and tips you need to complete your projects with confidence and ease. But it's not all work and no play. We believe in having fun. Our passion for home improvement shines through as we help you save time, money, and reduce the stress of DIY. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, don't miss Around the House. Tune in every Saturday night and let's tackle those home projects together.
Welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN. You're tuned into On the Rise with myself, Mike Napolitano, also Dalton Cooper and Nick Johnson joining us on the regular show. But we have another exclusive River Media Network sports interview for you. We are pleased to be joined by the gentleman in charge of the American Association of Professional Baseball's operations, expansion, media, revenue initiatives, technology enhancements and emergence, public relations and relationships, you name it, he's got it. We spoke to him at the Miles Wolf Cup Championship last September, where we talked a bit about a few of those aforementioned topics, but we also touched upon the one thing that is coming up very soon here for the independent baseball world, and he is the former CEO and co-owner of the Joliet Slammers Baseball Club of the Frontier League, where he was also a board member. He held that position in the Prospects Leagues for a tenure as well, and has previously worked in the Milwaukee Brewers scouting department as an intern and associate scout. He served as a clerk for the Northern League and as a consultant and legal counsel to numerous professional baseball teams for both business, legal, and baseball matters. He serves as an adjunct law school professor at the University of Wisconsin Law School, teaching sports law while regularly lecturing, quote, baseball and the law at Mitchell Hamlin School of Law. He is a member for Techstars Sports Tech Accelerator and former Twin Cities, Minnesota board member for the American Cancer Society and formerly the vice chair of the Sport, Art, and Entertainment section of the Minnesota Bar. Oh, this is a mouthful. And if that wasn't enough to tell you, if that wasn't enough to tell you how decorated he is, this man has been named top 40 business leaders under 40 by Minneapolis St. Paul Business Journal and Baseball Executive of the Year by Pitch and Hitch Club of Chicago. Please welcome to On the Rise, American Association Commissioner Josh Schaub.
Thank you.
That was, I mean, you have quite the resume. That's for sure. When we spoke last
for a while, yeah. So.
When we spoke last fall, we weren't sure if our Kane County Cougars were going to be able to get the job done, dropping the final game at home and going on the road for 3 final games of the Miles Wolf Cup Championship against a tough Sioux Falls team. But they did get the job done in an exciting fashion, and they go back-to-back once again and will represent the United States as the American Association representative for the Baseball Champions League, which is coming up soon. First, walk me through the chaos of those finals that took place in Sioux Falls last September, and now what it means for the Cougars as a team here in the spring.
Yeah, first off, those last 2 games, at least in Sioux Falls, were absolutely electric from a crowd perspective. That was one of the most entertaining crowds to see. Just the energy feels like World Baseball Classic does right now a little bit. Amazing stuff. And the performances by the teams speak for themselves. The back and forth, obviously Game 5 and what happened there, with Fanal hitting the grand slam and then Sioux Falls getting runners on, scoring a run, I think, to come back. I mean, phenomenal stuff in extra innings, and the heartbreak in Sioux Falls. You could feel it in the crowd. You could feel it in the stands. And it is, always a pleasure to hand off the Miles Wolf Cup to the champion. It's sometimes difficult doing it to the away team or doing it for the away team. So it was awesome. One of the best series I've been a part of in this league, and I think historically one of the best series they've ever had.
No doubt. It was exciting. You mentioned the Fanal Grand Slam, and I know everybody here back in Illinois that follows the Cougars was dialed in for that game and excited for the conclusion. And then, of course, this offseason, we saw you at some winter meetings just a few weeks ago to finalize this 2026 Baseball Champions League tournament, the 3rd iteration of its kind. Once again, it's the conjunction with the WBSC, which is the same organization responsible for organizing the World Baseball Classic, which is going on right now. You and I spoke in that interview about how important the relationships are with these international leagues, especially Cuba, China, and host country in Mexico. How crucial was it to renew that partnership and solidify the tournament for another year? And doing so in such a big year, we have the Olympics, which rolled into the Paralympics, and now especially baseball on the big stage with the WBC here.
Well, we knew WBC would take center stage here and make games of consequence leading in. The other thing it does for us, we're allowed to draft off the energy and this idea of international baseball and baseball being played worldwide. Now, that's the national teams, the federations playing each other. Baseball Champions League is the champions of each league playing each other. And he talked about the relationship. First off, it marks a difference for the American Association that we play internationally. No other MLB partner league does it. Two, the relationship with Mexico, now Taiwan, who's playing in the Baseball Champions League, Cuba, Nicaragua. It's important because we transfer players back and forth, and we have a lot of relationships in terms of like how that transacts, how it transpires. Finding opportunities for our players as well in the American Association is really critical. WBSC, BCL allows those relationships to bloom, and it really allows a smooth glide path for our players to leave and go to other opportunities. So it's awesome overall. We think that it's going to look trajectory-wise a lot like World Baseball Classic. If you look back to 2006 when it started, a rough start. No one bought tickets. It was looking like, boy, is this thing going to fly? No one really gets it. Players didn't want to play. Now look at what it is today. Unbelievable energy. Every player wants to play. Tarek Skubal didn't want to go home. And I'll say we never had the problem of people not showing up, players not wanting to play. Players wanted to play in this thing from the beginning. Our 22, we went and won it in Yucatan. Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks. We beat LMB's champions Yucatan in the pool play, beat Colombia in the championship. So after losing to Cuba to open, so phenomenal start for us. Last time around, we learned a lot. We played Mexico City at 10,000 feet of altitude. Maybe had the wrong roster there in terms of arms. Breaking balls don't really work. You got to bring a lot of velocity if you're going to get some people out, and you better bring some speed to cover some ground because balls are flying all over the place there. So we look forward to backing it up. Kane County's coming back again. Mexico City Diablos have their champion coming back again. We welcome Taiwan and one of the largest brands in baseball and brothers coming from Taiwan. So we're excited, and I think there's big things to come for this event.
We usually stray away from full-on politics on this show. It's a sports show, but sometimes you kind of have to step outside of sports and look at the world around you. There have been some recent incidents that happened in Mexico, and how does something like that kind of affect the game plan or adjust the tournament to kind of ensure player safety for all the countries that will participate in the BCL?
That's a great question. So took it very seriously, obviously, when that happened. We have a relationship with the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. We've been in constant contact with them. We also call WBSC, and they experience these things. They have tournaments internationally all the time in very remote destinations. Both said, let's hit pause, let's watch what happens. So there's always a threat level put out by the embassy, and they went from a 2 to a 3, which means I think it's reconsidered travel going there. That was at that level for 3 days and went back to a 2. They've been at a 2 for 2 decades, just so you know. A 2 is also where Germany, UK, Spain, and Italy are also at in terms of their threat level. So I think there's probably parts in Mexico you wouldn't want to go to when that happens. Mexico City, generally very safe. Stay where you're supposed to be. Don't do anything foolish, and you're going to be fine. But we did take it very seriously. I want to underscore that. And we feel at this time we're safe to go there. The embassy believes we're also safe to go there. And there's all kinds of precautions already put in place.
Do you travel for the tournament and the entirety of it?
I do. I'm on the steering committee for Baseball Champions League. So we're one of 3 permanent members, Mexico, ourselves, and Cuba, along with WBSC. So I sit on that committee and help steer the future. So at this one, we'll sit down and talk about next year. Where is it going? It's likely leaving Mexico. We've been there for 3 years now. They're great hosts. They actually host the most international baseball tournaments of any federation in the world.
Wow.
Far outpace the United States. They are phenomenal hosts. So when people talk about danger, just keep in mind, people send their kids there to go to international tournaments all the time. So we will be there, myself and the Deputy Commissioner Josh Buchholz. We'll have representatives from the league also there, other teams. So it's a great event. We're looking, by the way, Mexico City Diablos told me they believe they're going to double the ticket revenue from last year. So double the amount of people from last year to come to this one. Partially because last year was going up against Mexico spring break, which everyone leaves the city. 2 is there was like all kinds of concerts going on around the city. And 3rd, Major League Baseball had started. So opening day for Major League Baseball had started. It's kind of like takes the wind out of our sails. Now, because of timing, it ends on the 24th. We begin on the 24th, right after WBC ends and right before MLB opening day. And we play the Diablos in that window, in that gap. So we're feeling pretty good.
That's going to be very exciting. And you've talked about the biggest difference between the World Baseball Classic and the Baseball Champions League is that, the scope of the teams is different. It's, not the players necessarily representing their countries. They're representing their individual teams, but that is on behalf of each country that's taking part of this. And you mentioned riding those coattails, which is going to be huge for the tournament this year. But what can baseball fans kind of be super excited for when it comes to Baseball Champions League versus maybe a WBC to get some more baseball in that window?
Generally speaking, just what you said is you're playing for your team, so you know these players, there's teammates there. And the the BCL in general brings a lot of ex-big leaguers. Like you'll see Robinson Cano and Drelton Simmons. You may see Trevor Bauer, who's flirting with signing with the Diablos. I don't know if that's happened yet. So it brings some serious star power. And generally speaking, the level of play is really, really good. In fact, I can't remember what the number is of players we have in the WBC right now. I want to say it's in the 20s. We've had historically 42. So the quality of play is definitely there. What you're seeing in the WBC is relatively similar to what you're going to see in the BCL, minus some of the big powerhouses like US and Japan. But even Brothers is going to bring some talent. There's no doubt about it. And lastly, I will say what stunned me is in Mexico City, you're going to see some phenomenally long home runs. During a game, I saw a guy hit a ball 545 feet, according to TrackMan. So
because of the altitude, right?
The altitude is, so take Coors Field and double it. I mean, that's 10,000 feet.
That's going to be a sight to see for sure. Make sure, for our listeners to tune in just for everybody that loves the long balls. But you mentioned World Baseball Classic. That leads me, to the next transition here. Are there any players or teams that you have your eye on in the World Baseball Classic? There's plenty of players, like you mentioned, that have played previously in the AA or crossed paths with you in your previous ventures, I'm sure.
I mean, watch all of it, to be honest. And there's, Italy, what Italy's doing right now is phenomenal. I'm watching the game right now. They're just dominating Mexico. Aaron Nola started, so that clearly helps to have a top line starter on your team. But even mixing and matching top end big leaguers and kind of guys that are AA type guys or lower, it's phenomenal to watch them beat powerhouses like the US. We have some guys. Canada has some guys that used to play in our league. I look forward to that game. It looks like it's gonna be US and Canada next. So it should be a good one. So no player in particular. And as a commissioner, I hate to call out certain players. It's not good. Yeah, it's not good etiquette, but I would say we've got plenty of alumni and everyone should take a look, or players that are already in our league.
Even individually, though, I'm sure there's a lot of those talents that you're proud of. And as an American, of course, I want to root for Team USA. But last night, I'm also Italian, so that was a crazy back and forth as we're recording it here on Thursday. The fate of the United States team is in the hands of both Italy and Mexico, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. It's been exciting nonetheless, though. What's the best part that you've seen from the drama of guys not shaking hands, or just teams that you're kind of surprised about?
Well, if I can share a story, one of the top baseball moments of my life, not saying it's the top, but one of the best experiences I've ever had in 2000. When was the last one? 23?
23, yeah.
23, yeah, because we had Baseball Champions League, the first one, and we won it in Yucatan. The Mexican Federation invited me to their suite for their game against Japan in Miami. Wow. So WBSC, the president, Ricardo Ficari, who everyone's going to see handing out trophies at the end, he was there, the executives from WBSC and the Mexican Federation. It was phenomenal to experience two completely different baseball cultures play each other. So on one hand, you have Mexico, who's got horns, they're dancing, there's like mariachi bands playing in the concourse, they're yelling, and then you have Japan, who sings. So they sing during the game, and there's like women dressed up as geishas, and there's men dressed in full suits and ties. So Japan's Federation was right next to us in the suite. And just phenomenal clashing of cultures. To watch that was absolutely awesome. And you get some of that in BCL too. I mean, Mexico clearly dominates because the Diablos, big Cuban contingent comes over. We're going to have a bunch of fans this year, more than we did last year. And now we have Taiwan. So we're going to get some of that Taiwan mix too. But seeing that clash of cultures is so cool. And really, I'll say this out loud. I look at those games, boy, like I wish we had some of those different like traditions intermixed with ours. Like we're typically a very polite crowd. We yell and scream and yell at the umpires, but there's some things they do that bring some energy that's really intriguing. So I wish we saw more of this more often, to be very honest.
That has to be a sight to see for sure. I know I would love that. And we're getting a lot of that in 2026 with the Olympics, Paralympics, FIFA World Cup, and then these two big baseball tournaments that are really bringing kind of like that unity of cultures together. And one thing that we see here in the Chicagoland area is a little bit of unity when it comes to the two major independent ball leagues that are here. We have the American Association, of course, and then the Frontier League. You're the former CEO and co-owner of the Joliet Slammers, as I mentioned. There is a historic game coming up at the end of April being played out of the Joliet prison. Even though you're in an entirely new league, will you have an opportunity to check this event out and maybe get some ideas for the American Association from the Frontier League?
I really wish I could go check this out. It's just, that's a tough time of year for me to break away. All the credit to the Slammers and Slammer staff for pulling it off. That prison, when I owned the team, was not a place you want to go walk around. So hopefully there's been a lot of renovations done to get that prison yard ready for play. Do I get any ideas? I think I give them a lot of credit for being really creative. It's a very creative venture in what they're doing. Hopefully they can monetize it. The challenge is you can do those events, but you can't also bludgeon yourself financially when you do it. So I think they'll be very successful. I trust the staff over there. I know a lot of them. I've met some along the way, since I left, and I think they'll do a phenomenal job. And again, it's good for baseball. It's really good for baseball. The more we can turn eyes to people playing baseball and people, and especially little ones, seeing potential heroes. And, I had one person tell me, they don't have to be big leaguers. They just have to be really good baseball players in uniforms for the player or a kid to think that's my hero. Like, in fact, in our league, in the American Association, you can walk up and shake their hands before the game. They'll come over and sign autographs, and they become heroes to these little kids, and we build more baseball fans. And I'll never forget when I met with Rob Manfred, the first time we became MLB Partner League, an MLB Partner League. We're no longer independent. We talked a lot about it's not us versus Major League Baseball. It used to be this like rivalry with Major League Baseball and independent league baseball. What it's about is winning against other sports and getting young fans to our sport, not only to watch, but to play. Like, we were losing athletes galore to basketball, football, and we were losing the battle. You're starting to see it tick up. And the reason I know it's ticking up is the viewership is ticking up significantly. And so the interest is back. And I give a lot of credit to pitch clocks for that, to be honest. The pace of the game has really changed things.
We talked a little bit when we had that discussion out at Northwestern Medicine Field about the expansion, whether it was the traditional sense with more teams, hopefully 2 new teams coming by 2028 you were talking about, or even the fan perspective with the American Association hitting 10 million viewers across television platforms. You also mentioned that there was exciting news coming in those next 30 days after the season wrapped up, and we saw that announcement with the announcement of the Home Team Network. Schaumburg Boomers fans that tuned into the show and Frontier League fans got to see that in action last season. But what will this new partnership, along with, you also announced the Champ Pro Athleisure partnership, what will that bring to the AA in 2026, excuse me? Where are we at here?
The important difference is the Frontier League has it uniform across the league, and you can only watch their game on Home Team Network. We have a different deal with Home Team Network. You can still watch all of our live games for free on AABaseball.tv. Our games are then also broadcast on Home Team Network, and we broadcast our games on national television and on regional television. So it's a non-exclusive license with HTN. You can find our games there. I encourage fans to go check them out. You can also find them on AABaseball.tv. What HTN does phenomenally is production, right? So their production is all going to come in and shoot our games. We're going to see some major improvements there.
That should be exciting. I'm super excited to be able to tune in.
By the way, on broadcast. More announcements to come, so stay tuned.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A lot of big changes here for the AA, and we'll get into those in a second. But I wanted to go into and talking about how you said it was a rival against other sports, right? Rather than independent leagues and MLB partnered leagues and even the MLB itself. It's tough because of the different levels of competition. But here in the Chicagoland area, as I mentioned, baseball fans know that it's the Frontier League and the American Association that mostly take up our partnered leagues here, and they're tied together even more so now, especially here for WRMN with the Kane County Cougars and Schaumburg Boomers being under the same ownership with Rev Entertainment Group. We spoke about that here on the show with former Boomers owner Pat Salvi. Are there any plans to maybe collaborate between the two leagues or other partnered or indie ball leagues in the future?
We do collaborate. So as MLB partner leagues, we just make sure that we're sharing best practices to draw more fans. Because again, it's just about how do we get more people in baseball stadiums to create more fans. There's always opportunity on the table to do more. But we do have a working relationship with the other leagues, that being the Atlantic League and the Pioneer League on our east and on our west.
Would we ever see maybe like an all-star game between leagues or something along the lines of competition that way? Maybe a tournament here in the United States of you take your best team from each league and they all play against each other?
There is a potential for that, yes. And I'll say, as far as the all-star game goes, we used to be a week after the Frontier League. So the Frontier League would go the day after the MLB All-Star Game, and we'd be the week after. We this year moved our game 1 week forward. So now at least we're aligned on the dates to potentially make that happen.
Okay, awesome, interesting. All right, we're very excited for the season to kick off here. We want to talk a little bit about those changes. You talked about Home Team Network coming in and some other broadcasting changes. As far as the rules go, we're hearing a lot with MLB about the automated balls and strikes system. We talked to batting coach for the Evansville Otters, TJ Zarowitz, last week a little bit about what he thinks is going to come for the Frontier League side of things. You had mentioned when we spoke in the fall that you guys are partnered with MLB, but get to make a lot of your own decisions. Are you going to be implementing any of these new rules? We already talked about a little bit about the pitch clock coming in, but anything new that could be a change in the rules for the AA this year?
Yeah, we are autonomous for sure. And I will say that being autonomous also allows us to watch if things work and don't work and then implement the best practices of it. So we will probably tail on that a little bit and follow. ABS is probably on our horizon to a certain extent, whatever the extent that is, not everything, but the challenge system, whatnot. So yeah, this year you probably will not see any changes. Our rules have to be changed in the fall primarily. There is some caveats to that, but we don't typically allow rule changes right before the season starts for various reasons. So you're probably what you see is what you get this year.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, we're excited for American Association Baseball nonetheless. I saw that you also served as the commissioner and general counsel of the Major Arena Soccer League, and you were a co-founder of the Beauty League in the summer for hockey. I mean, we do a lot of hockey here with the show. That was NHL, AHL, ECHL, and even some college players. I was based out in the Twin Cities. What can you tell us about some of your experiences in other sports outside of baseball? Because you talked about, baseball banding together and having that culture, and I think it's a very similar culture in hockey where, no matter what league, it's everybody in hockey all for one kind of a thing. But what was your kind of experiences with running those leagues and soccer as well too?
Yeah. I'll start with hockey. Hockey in itself, the culture of hockey is amazing. Those players are selfless. They take care of themselves. I'm not speaking badly about baseball or soccer players in general, but some of your biggest stars are your hardest workers in terms of giving back to the fans. Just some stories, Dustin Byfuglien, Nick Bjugstad, players that had played in Beauty League. I would watch them sign autographs for hours after the game, and there would be throngs of children, and they would just sign and sign. Zach Parisi, sign and sign. And it's their summertime, a time when typically they want to be home with their families because they're gone the rest of the year. These are guys that carry their own bags, do their own thing. I mean, volunteer to play in the special game against children with special needs. So that's a phenomenal experience. The Beauty League has given to charity $600,000 since 2016. So we developed this league, and all the net proceeds go back to charity, and it's primarily players' charity. So it's awesome. It's part of the fabric of professional hockey in America and Canada now. It's the only professional hockey that goes on during the summer. It's 4-on-4 non-check, and you're able to see the skill level of these guys at another level. When they know they're not getting hit and they can move, the speed of the puck and how fast they are is just world class. I think last year we had 6 Olympians, and now we have a women's game, and we had 4 or 5 of the Olympic women's that play in the Beauty League, women that play in Beauty League. So if anybody ever wants to head up to Minneapolis and check that out, you should hit it up. It's Wednesdays in July and August out of Edina at Braemar. Awesome product. Soccer was my first experience as a commissioner. So I practiced law for many years, represented leagues, represented teams, owned a team. Very challenging. Arena soccer is an amazing sport to watch. It is highly entertaining. In fact, it was highly, until Jordan came along in the 80s, arena soccer was more popular than NBA. Just think about that. Arena soccer was more popular than the NBA in terms of attendance. And we can talk about why that fell off, but phenomenal experience. Very tough business model. You're playing in arenas, flying all over the country, 12 home games a year. A lot of ebbs and flows in that sport, but great experience. First time as a commissioner. The worst year of my life was I was exiting the MASL. So it was my last year as commissioner. I was going to finish out the year for them, and the American Association had hired me in 2019. So I had gotten through, they had just hired me right before the season. So I was kind of getting through phasing out of the MASL, and COVID hit. And so I had to finish the playoffs for MASL somehow and then pull off a season in the American Association, and we did it. We pulled off a season in both. The American Association I could be more proud of for carrying the banner that year. Because we could have easily tucked up in the fetal position and shut it down. But our players, staffs, coaches, we found a way to build a traditional circuit. And I think we're the only league in the country that did it with fans. So credit to all those fans who kept showing up in 2020 to come to our games.
That is incredible all around. Going even back to the hockey side of things, I named my dog after Dustin Byfuglien, so it's nice to know that he was a selfless guy, but I can't imagine him being out there just using skill and not using his big body out there, and also just being there in the first place. He's a big fisherman, so I can't imagine he didn't want to just be out on a boat somewhere.
There was some pull there. There was some pull to go fish, but he got to fish all day, right? And then he comes at night. And I will say, yeah, Buff, he would sometimes get frustrated with the young college guys. They got a little too hyper out there, got a little happy with the puck, and it's a non-check league, so they would just dangle and dangle and dangle, and Buff would go take care of, make sure they knew they need to play it straight up. So
I bet. Well, this has been amazing. We're so excited for another season here for the American Association, especially the Cougars in our own backyard, but of course all across the league here. Josh Schaub, once again, Commissioner, I would like to thank you for coming on here. If you'd like to, how people can reach you or the league if they have any questions, comments, concerns, or just want to talk about the great work that you guys do.
Sure, AABaseball.com is the best way to find us. Our handle's AA Baseball across all the regular social media platforms. And lastly, I would say, please go watch Baseball Champions League. You're going to find it on a number of platforms in the United States. AABaseball.tv, it's always available. Kane County Cougars representing U.S. and Canada, because we have Winnipeg, so we get Canada and the U.S.
Right.
Going back to get the trophy. And it's a phenomenal trophy. And the celebration at the end is fireworks and bands, and there's a huge opening ceremony this year, and light shows. And so please watch Baseball Champions League. Someday it will be as big as the World Baseball Classic. So Appreciate the time. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. I'm excited for that day to come. And for those of you...
Hi, this is Sherry Aschenbrenner, Vice President of Dementia Friendly Elgin Area. Everyone knows somebody living with dementia. Caregivers and friends of those with dementia are always welcome at our Elgin Area Memory Cafe, always the second Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the South Elgin Public Works Building, 1000 Bowes Road in South Elgin. Also, Dementia Friendly Elgin Area gives free 20-minute dementia awareness trainings to local businesses, church groups, to bunco groups. Just invite us. If you'd like to get put on Sherry's senior email blast list, please email us at dfelist@gmail.com. Also, you can go and visit our website at dementiafriendlyelginarea.org.
Tune in to Sherry's Senior Moments radio show on the second Thursday of each month at 9:05 a.m. until 10 a.m. on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN Radio app, or WRMN Radio on YouTube. That's Sherry's Senior Moments, providing resources and information for our seniors in the community.
Every year in Illinois, over 30,000 drivers are arrested for DUI. Due to improper testing procedures, many people end up being wrongfully charged. The book DUIs Decoded cuts right to the chase and tells you how proper DUIs arrests are supposed to be made, from the initial traffic stop to the reasoning behind the field sobriety test, all the myths and facts about taking a breathalyzer, and more. DUIs Decoded is written by nationally recognized DUI expert witness William Polarinos. Available now at Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Are you looking for a way to be creative right now? Have you ever wanted to learn to watercolor paint? You can now do that from the comfort of your own home with Zoom watercolor classes. Get professional instruction from nationally showing artist Victoria Elizabeth. These classes are step-by-step, broken down with easy-to-understand instructions. They are affordable, too, at $15 for a 2-hour class. Visit her website at victoriaelizabethart.com to find out more. That's victoriaelizabethart.com.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids right here in our own backyard are facing hunger every day? Without healthy food, it's harder to grow, to thrive, to feel their best.
The impact when children don't have enough to eat is tremendous because when you're hungry and your basic needs aren't being met, you cannot learn.
Every child deserves to be fed. This is a problem we know how to solve. Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Breakfast in the classroom contributes to kids being more focused, which leads to higher grades, and simply just their well-being.
Thank you! Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
They're simple, boring, never thought of until they're needed. They're windshield wipers. Only when Mary Anderson became annoyed that New York trolley drivers were stopping to wipe their windshield by hand did anybody do something about it. By attaching a spring-loaded arm to a rubber blade, one woman made travel easier and safer. Look to innovate and pass it on from passiton.com.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-890-5957. 800-890-5957. That's 800-890-5957.
River Media Network Sports, AM 1410 WRMN. You're listening to On the Rise. We want to give one more thank you to American Association Commissioner Joshua Schaub. The ending just got cut off, but that was just me saying goodbye to everybody, so you got the entire gist of the interview, and hopefully you took down those dates. The World Baseball Classic ends soon, and then it's the Baseball Champions League that brings us right before the start of the MLB season and the American Association season. So double check those times. March 24th, I believe, is the start. So get on out there and go see some baseball. If you're actually going, let us know. Taking the trip down to Mexico. That'd be a nice little vacation. But if you're just watching along with us, let us know what you like, what you're seeing. What we don't like and what we're actually still seeing is the Bulls, unfortunately. So
that's a nice transition. Ayo.
Yeah. It's been a week.
They need to lose more, though, in my opinion.
They do.
They're winning entirely too much. This should be like Major League. We should become the the Indians of that movie.
Lose all 82, please. Sunday was a 126-110 loss to Sacramento in Sacramento. The Bulls have this long Western road trip. But they get a win in overtime over the Golden State Warriors. Matas Buzelis with a missed three. He gets the rebound and puts it back with a slam in the third. Buzelis had 41 points on the night, and Josh Giddey had 13 rebounds and 17 assists. We talk about a lot of points. Let's transition over because there's a gentleman who is breaking records as of this week, not playing for the Bulls. But if anybody's ever heard of Miami Heat's Bam Adebayo, 83 points in a game. He passes the late Kobe Bryant, who had 81 points in a game, to hold second place in that NBA record behind Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah.
It was a Bush League game, Mike.
Bush League?
No, it was.
Do you
know why it's Bush League?
I only saw the highlights.
Do you know how many free throws that man shot?
36.
43.
It was 43. He made 36.
He made 36.
Excuse me. Yeah. 43.
He shot 40. Literally half his points came from. It was, if you take his free throws away, he only scored 40. I think it was like 44 points,
and that
which would make it like
brings him back down to reality.
Yeah, like the 52nd highest NBA scoring performance of all time. But like, yeah, like I guess it's cool. Like, yeah, whatever. But it's not like.
Yeah,
because they were comparing it to the other high
Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points in a game.
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant, 81 points. Yeah, most free throws made in an NBA game. So that shows you the stats padded right there. 36.
He shot 22 threes, by the way.
Attempted 43 free throws and 22 threes. That's it's incredible.
He's the only man playing that night.
He now holds the Heat franchise record for most points in a quarter with 31. Most points at half with 43, and most points in a game with 83. His record-setting night came 12 years and 1 week after LeBron James set the previous Heat record with 61 points against the then Charlotte Bobcats.
Gotcha.
They did get the win, 150-129 over the Washington Wizards. It was 83 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks for the full stat line there for Adebayo. He hit 7 3-pointers on those 22 attempts that Dalton was talking about. And like we said, 43 points in the first half, which topped his previous full game career high of 41.
Rumor has it Asia Wilson was in attendance, and that's why he wanted to go off. Yeah.
Okay. That adds up. Chicago Sky fans know Asia Wilson pretty well. Adebayo is the 11th.
That's also his girlfand, by the way. Just in case anybody wasn't
I probably should have.
That's okay. That's okay. We don't want to start any rumors.
No. Yeah. Adebayo is the 11th different player in NBA history to score at least 70 points in a game. The other 10, Chamberlain, as we mentioned, who did it 6 times. Kobe Bryant, Luka Doncic, David Thompson, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, David Robinson, Elgin Baylor, Joel Embiid, and Devin Booker. He is the first player with a 60-point game this season. Nikola Jokic had been the last player with a 60-point game, scoring 61 in a double overtime loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves in April. But think about that. That's in double overtime. So they've had the time to add up to that. That's crazy. 12th different player to score at least 50 points in a game this season. The record for most 50-point scorers in a season is 14, done both in 2021 and 2022. He scored 62 points through the 3 quarters, most by any player since Kobe Bryant had 62 on December 20th of 2005, going all the way back. That was against the Dallas Mavericks, which he famously outscored the Dallas Mavericks 62 to 61 through 3 quarters before sitting out in the 4th quarter. That's crazy. A couple more stats on there, and I'm not gonna bore you with all of those, especially because, like you said, it was a little bit of a Bush League stats padded type success. But Wilt Chamberlain in the news quite a bit this week because there was that, and then there was another record broken just the other night. I'll see if I can find that in here.
Well, speaking of the Bulls, they've won 3 straight games. They beat the Celtics, they've beaten the Timberwolves, and they've beaten the Clippers. These are literally all playoff teams. And again, this team should be losing, right? I don't know. I'm confused by the Bulls. I guess it's cool to see that they're making progress, but like they should have made progress 2 years ago. That's when it would be exciting because now they're just they're destroying their own draft stock. Literally, it's them and the Bucks outside the playoffs that are not been eliminated yet in the East.
Are you looking at January? What did you say? The Three straight wins.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong part of the schedule. You're right. You're right. They beat Golden State the other night. That's what I was thinking. And they did lose the Clippers and the Lakers at back-to-back games. I'm looking at the wrong part of the schedule.
So they did get back in the loss column.
Yes,
Don't
they
worry.
did. Sorry.
That's a good thing.
Sorry, yes. They've won, 3 games in their last 15 or so, it looks like. So that's actually a step in the right direction. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was just going to continue on here with, there was a 142 to 130 loss to Los Angeles, and then a 119 to 108 loss to the other Los Angeles, the Clippers. I should preface, Lakers and then Clippers. The Bulls will come back home in their next game. It'll be Monday night against Memphis at 7 o'clock, then Wednesday against Toronto at 7 p.m., Tuesday against Cleveland also at 7 p.m., and then, excuse me, did I say Tuesday? I meant Thursday. So those are the 3 games this week. The Bulls have a 4-game homestand.
Those tickets are cheap.
Yeah, carry on into next Monday, the 23rd, against Houston at 7 p.m. So, yeah, not too much going for the Bulls these days, but that's a good thing. They just got to keep getting in that losing column. You can check out all their games on CHSN, AM 670 The Score, or 104.3 FM The Score.
You can attend any of those next 4 contests for as little as $28 a ticket. $28, $27, $25, and $18.
That is a deal.
Yeah. But don't spend your money there because we want them to, change ownership and change things.
Yeah, show them that you're not going to stand for this and that they need to turn things around completely. It was
Colin Sexton's been playing well though.
Yes, yeah, he has, and there are some promising bright spots for this Bulls team going forward. As you see, like the trades that were made with the new guys coming in, the young guys. We still talk about Bazelis a lot.
Yeah.
So there's promise there, but this has to blow up for it to actually fully rebuild properly.
Yeah, I can't wait to have all those second-round picks. It's going to be awesome.
I still am kind of waiting for them to come out and say rebuild. I think that would be nice for the fans, but they won't do it. They won't do it. The other Wilt Chamberlain stat, OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, breaks Wilt Chamberlain's record with 127 consecutive games scoring at least 20 points. That's what it was. Just
Is that good?
Small stat right there. I mean, that's pretty good. I'm surprised our buddy Grant Leader didn't chime in and tell us about that because that's his man, SGA, over in the OKC Thunder. But going into the G League side of things, the Windy City Bulls started off March rough with 3 losses, almost giving the Cleveland Charge a 150 piece with a 148 to 105 loss.
Wow.
Then a 125 to 99 loss to Cleveland again last Friday, also losing to the Maine Celtics 122 to 97 before all of that. The last Sunday that they were at home, I believe, a 137 to 100 loss to the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. That's the Houston Rockets G League affiliate. They gave up more than 30 points each quarter, 32, 34, 40, and 31 respectively, while only scoring 18, 34, 26, and 22. Not so great of numbers. And then Tuesday, they fell short by 1 point to the College Park Skyhawks. That was an overtime loss. So in the G League, you play to a target score, which is a little bit interesting and unique. Windy City's stat lines, 45 points in the first quarter, 17, 24, and 34 respectively. In overtime, they only had 6. College Park, 28, 35, 26, and 31 with 7 in overtime. And that carried over into Thursday's game against the Valley Suns, the Phoenix Suns farm team. Let me double check. I didn't have that in my notes on what they did here, but what you can do is check out their future games. Oh, actually, it's going to pull this up real quick. Oh, no, wait. Am I crazy? Is that today? No. They play them back-to-back. That's what I'm looking at. Excuse me. They did lose. Oh, no, excuse me. They won against those Phoenix Valley Suns, 124 to 116. Yeah. So back in the win column for Windy City. They'll play that same Suns team tonight at Now Arena. So you can catch that game on NBAGleague.com, 7 p.m. tip-off. Then they're still at home Monday against the Wisconsin Herd. That's the Milwaukee Bucks G League affiliate, 7 p.m. Prime Video, CHSN tape delay, or The Spot. Wednesday, it'll be at the Capital City Go-Go. Also, what are we doing? Terrible name for a team. Horrible. Capital City Go-Go?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Like, what is that? Are you a car? Are you a... Like, that sounds like something straight out of the Jetsons. Like, we're going to get in the Go-Go. Yeah.
It does, actually.
Like, what? Terrible. Washington Wizards at Care First Arena at 6 p.m. Sorry, Capital City Go-Go, I had to go in on you like that, but when you're the affiliate for the Washington Wizards, I think I have every right to go in on you.
So alludes to the go-go music genre that emerged in Washington, D.C. in the mid-1960s to late 70s.
Terrible.
So
What
go-go music.
is go-go music? I know Motown, I know jazz, I know blues, I know what is it? Disco.
So it gets its name for its ability to keep people going and going on the dance floor.
Terrible. Absolutely
the
terrible.
go-go beat is known as the pocket, and the rest of the music is built around this groove.
No. I'm out.
So it's a subgenre of funk music.
Okay, I like
with
funk.
an emphasis on specific rhythm patterns and live audience calls and responses. That's go-go music.
Sure.
Yeah, you know they should go put that ball in the basket. I'm sure there's a lot of fun, fun chance they have there. Yeah.
Oh man,
go to the buses. I don't know.
go get yourself a new team name.
Go to the bathroom because we are not a very good team. I don't know. That could be 100% inaccurate.
Go spend your money on another sports franchise in the Washington area.
Oh, there you go. Nice. This is like Linkin Park songs. I like how we're doing this. Yeah.
I did go to another concert this week. It was I Prevail and 3 Days Grace. We could have gone over. I'm trying
3
to
Days
think.
Grace.
Yeah.
I hate everything about you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be mean. Yeah. Anyway.
I'll just keep climbing the mountain over here. How about that?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the animal that the Windy City Bulls will become.
I'm just going to riot outside.
Yeah, they're going to riot. We're talking about
They're gonna
Washington.
riot for the Go-Go's.
Careful. We're talking about them playing the Capital City Go-Go. We don't want any more riots. That'll be Friday at 6 p.m. on NBA G League, Monumental Plus, and CHSN tape delay. So Wednesday and Friday back-to-back out in Washington.
Yeah.
We've got some soccer news as well. We kind of got to catch you up on the Chicago Fire. We haven't talked to you about them since we've had Jim Alexander on. Go ahead and check that interview out 2 weeks ago now. That was a 2-1 loss to Houston in their start of the year game. That's a weird way for me to say it. Their opening game.
Yeah.
But their home opener was a 3-0 win over CF Montreal.
Yeah, it was.
That was Jonathan Bamba scoring in the 27th minute. Jonathan Dean gets a red card, though, in the 56th. So they were playing with 10 men for the entire remainder of the game. With 12 added minutes at the end of regulation, it's Hugo Kuipers in the 4th added minute with a penalty. That puts the Fire up 2-0, and then Robin Laud in the 10th added minute of stoppage time gives the Fire a 3-0 victory. This past Saturday was a 0-0 tie with the Columbus Crew out in Columbus, and then the Fire will be back in action at home today at 7:30 p.m. against DC United. Next Saturday, it'll be an earlier game out in Philadelphia to take on the Union at 3:30 p.m. Both of those are on Apple TV. And if you're looking at the ladies' side of things, the Chicago Stars FC, their season begins tomorrow. The 2026 NWSL season debuts for the Chicago Stars. They released some cool new throwback jerseys. I don't know if you got a chance to see those, but it'll be a 6 p.m. kickoff at BMO Stadium out in LA for them to face the Angel City FC. The home opener is next weekend, 3/22, March 22nd at 1 p.m. against the Kansas City Current. So we'll be bringing you all of your Chicago Stars FC news here as well.
Yeah, we'll be in attendance for that game too.
Oh yeah, you will be.
I'll be there.
I don't know if I will be there yet. I got to double check. I might be at the Blackhawks game that day.
Nice.
That'll be a fun matinee game for the Blackhawks, and there might be something else planned earlier before that may have to do with Chicago's finest. So might be able to get ourselves in with that.
Speaking of Chicago's finest, we have the AHL happening too.
We do,
and we have the Chicago's finest hockey team playing right now because they technically are probably the best team in Chicago based on record.
They are. We were talking about this a little bit off air. They've kind of taken a little bit of a slump as of late, but they're going to have to get out of it because they have a tough game this Sunday against the Grand Rapids Griffins, who they've played well against.
They play tonight, I believe.
But yes, there's a game or two before that. The only thing I don't have, can you look up last night's results? Because that was against Rockford, so we could do.
Yeah, Rockford won.
Okay.
I do know that. I think it was 4-1.
Okay.
So, and they do not play tonight. Chicago will be back at home on Sunday. They play the Friday-Sunday schedule.
Gotcha.
4-1. Rockford takes down Chicago in Rockford. Let's see here. 1-1 was the end of the first, and then looks like Rockford took over. He had goals from Joey Anderson, Tage Harding, and Rem Pitlick.
Nice.
To seal the deal. The Hogs opened the scoring with Martin Misak, followed by Ryan Suzuki for the Wolves. Yeah, just the only thing that I've noticed with the Wolves, too, is some of their best players, like Robida,
Bradley
Nadeau, and then
Fensori.
Right, but Ryan Suzuki is their top line. So that top line, the last 4 games was like a combined like negative 22. So they have been they've been scoring, but the problem is they've been giving up goals too, and their goaltending hasn't been as stellar as it was the 2-week stretch before. Caden was playing pretty well, but for the Wolves, but it hasn't been playing as well lately. And they've been getting outshot.
Caden Primeau?
Yeah, Caden Primeau. They've been getting outshot in basically every contest. They got outshot again. Or no, they actually outshot Rockford for the first time in like 5 or 6 games they've played somebody. So
I think they got outshot last Sunday. That was that St. Patrick's Day green jersey.
They got outshot Saturday night too.
And they lost 7-6 in the shootout.
Yeah, I was at that game.
Cole Lind was the only scorer in that shootout.
That was a crazy game. So the Wolves were down 2-0 to start, like 5 minutes into the game, not even 5 minutes. I think it was 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
They ended up tying the game at 2-2 by the end of the first. End of the first, actually, I think it was 3-2 Wolves.
Yeah, Bradley Nadeau, Cal Foote, and Noel Gunler by the end of that.
And Cal Foote I know he might not have, here nor there, but his play on the ice was very noticeable. He was jumping into the rush. He was an offensive player, offensive defenseman that was really making an impact. I did notice him quite a bit.
The Wolves end up making it 5-3 though in the second period. Dom Fensori and Yuso Valimaki, and then you lose
within like
the
5
lead.
minutes of the third period. That they had surrendered 3 goals to Texas.
Yeah, because then they made it 6-3 with Skylar Brindamore's tally, and then 3 straight goals, and then next thing you know, you're staring down overtime.
Yeah, they scored with the extra. They were down 6-5 in that period.
Oh gosh,
they were up 5-3 going into the third. Gave up 3 straight goals within like a 5-minute stretch, and then they scored with about a minute to go. On the power play, it was a 6-on-4. They got the extra man, they got the extra skater on, and they got the power play, which is really funny because I looked at the guy next to me. I was like, man, we could really use a power play. And not even 30 seconds later, the hand goes up. And I was like, well, there it is.
Yep.
And that overtime period, there was some great saves, some good chances. I think Robida got blocked or got like shut down like right on the doorstep. So hopefully the Wolves can get it together because, they do have a nice, comfortable lead in the standings. There's like a 20-point gap between them and Grand Riffins, and then like a 10-point gap between the Wolves and then whoever's in third, which I believe is Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's been there.
No, Manitoba, excuse me. Manitoba's
yeah.
third, 68 points for the Wolves, 60 for Manitoba, and then unfortunately the Rockford is down there in 6th. They have 47 points, but they are only 6 points behind Milwaukee for that final playoff spot. So
it has been an odd year for the Ice Hogs. I know we've talked about this pretty much every week because of the fact that, they've had guys getting called up, which isn't unfamiliar to this Ice Hogs organization. I think it's just been a little bit too much of taking the guys that are producing and leaving nothing for Rockford.
Yeah, and they've been awful on the power play this year, too.
Yeah, that power play. We talked to Dana Gray about that early in the season. It hasn't really gotten much better. Last Saturday was at Pechanga Arena against the San Diego Gulls for the Ice Hogs. The Gulls did a very nice tribute to Troy Murray before the game, and then you had Rockford's Dominic Toninato, Brent Sini, and Rem Pitlick. They tied the game at 3, and then Joey Anderson in the third period scored. Unfortunately, though, it wasn't enough to face the San Diego Gulls. Ryan Carpenter, former Blackhawk, with 2 goals, and the San Diego Gulls go on to win 6-4.
Yeah.
Olivier Rodrigue, the new goaltender, we forgot to mention, I think it was when we had Scott Darling on that they signed him that day. He went 27 stops in 32 total shots, 5 goals against. One of those was an empty netter. So it was a much closer game, but just that empty net goal really sealed the deal for San Diego. Then it was a 2-1 loss in overtime to Milwaukee on Wednesday. A lot from Callan Lind in this one, but then former Blackhawk and Ice Hog Jordan Osterley 7 seconds into OT, and the Ice Hogs find themselves staring down the barrel of another loss. They finally get back on that win column, as you mentioned last night, against the Chicago Wolves, But then tonight it'll be against Iowa at 7 p.m. It'll be the St. Patty's Day celebration, followed by bucket hats presented by Bud Light, 21 and over for that giveaway. Next Friday will be against the Grand Rapids Griffins at 7 p.m. It'll be K-pop night.
Nice.
$2 beer Fridays. Enjoy $2 beers or soft drinks every Friday during this season, presented by Bud Light for the for the Ice Hogs. They'll be playing the Grand Rapids Griffins. And then you could get all their games live on demand on Flow Hockey or AHL TV. Same for the Wolves. But then for the Rockford side of things, local television coverage is available on WSLN 19.2, the 365, or that's Comcast channel 434. Free audio streams are available via the Ice Hogs app, icehogs.com, and local stations like 104.9 The X.
Just to give you some perspective on that power play comment, too, I was looking at it right here. Do you know Nick Lourdes leads the team in power play goals? He has 7.
I did see that.
Yeah, and then Ryan
he's not even on the team right now.
Yeah, Rem Petlik is second, and he literally got acquired mid-season. And then you have Kevin Lombardi at 3 with 4 power play goals. So
Kevin Lombardi's been nice. He just scored in that 2-1 loss to the Milwaukee Admirals, but I mean it's just not enough for this Ice Hogs team. You talk about the movement. Ethan Del Mastro got moved up and back down. Korchinski got moved up. Lardis got moved up. Comesso got moved up. So those are your big heavy hitters.
Samuel
right now
Savoy has 1 power play goal this season. That's crazy.
Was that
the opening night?
I think it was, because weren't they on the power play in the overtime? Yeah. That's rough. That is.
Brett Cini has 1 power play goal this season too. It's just like I said. It's just a little bit of like you said, the injury bug, and then just maybe some puck luck here and there. But yeah, it's just a tough season so far. I don't know if they have enough time to make up for it. Is the problem?
Yeah. As we mentioned, we will be at Allstate tomorrow for the girls' high school state championship game, which is at noon. We will be in attendance for that, along with the lovely Sophia Blackburn that works here with us at WRMN. But then we'll be sticking around for the 5 p.m. Wolves versus Grand Rapids Griffins game. Also, one more time, congrats to BGHW and St. Viator for defeating Maine Township and New Trier, respectively. And then Tuesday, the Wolves will be in Texas to once again face those Texas Stars at 7 p.m. Wednesday, they're still out at HEB Center at Cedar Park to face the Stars again at 7 p.m. So back-to-backs in Texas against Texas. And then next Saturday at 7 p.m. will be once again against Rockford, this time at home. That'll be Polish Heritage Night. So traditional Polish dancers and cultural performances.
That's always a big night.
Yeah. Special appearances by Wojtek the Bear and exclusive concessions featuring pierogies. Fans who purchase the special ticket package will receive a limited edition Wolves Wilkie scarf, and all fans are invited to enjoy a post-game skate following the horn. Check them out on AHL TV or Flow Hockey, and select free-to-air broadcasts on WPWR TV and My50 Chicago. Next weekend, right here on the show, we will be talking to Wayne Messmer, who sings the national anthem for the Wolves, does a lot with the Cubs, and for many years was the national anthem singer for the Chicago Blackhawks.
I'm excited to see that. I know we usually see him at pregame meals, so it'd be nice to have him in studio or on the line here.
That's for sure. That'll do it for your On the Rise coverage of every single sports team here in the Chicagoland area and nationally. Go out and watch the WBC today. Root on Team USA in sled hockey tomorrow and the rest of the weekend in the WBC. But that'll do it for here.
Mark DeRosa, learn the rules.
Yeah. Dalton Cooper on the board. Myself, Mike Napolitano, AM 1410 WRMN.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services